everyone. I am Devrup Sarkar, your host for this session. It is our immense pleasure to have Dr. T.P. Shashikumar as our guest speaker for the event. Dr. T.P. Shashikumar hails from a humble background with modest resources and always tried to make best use of them. Dr. T.P. Shashikumar is a mathematician, space scientist, program planner, project manager, psychologist, educationist, meditation master, spiritual coach, and a public speaker all in one. Dr. T.P. Shashikumar worked as a scientist in the Department of Space for 2 decades, also served as a deputy director at the Directorate General of Security, Cabinet Secretariat, New Delhi, before a voluntary retirement in 2009. So he always had an inner passion to teach and show direction to the directionless youth of today's generation. So I would like to hand over to Dr. T.P. Shashikumar. Sir, please.
Namaskaram to all the student staff and others who are joining on behalf of NIRIST, right?
So it is NIRIST, NIRIST.
Yeah, Northeastern Regional Institute of Science and Technology. Srishti talks, I guess in 2021, this is the first in the series of talks which you planned, right?
Yes, sir.
The topic given is Divergent Thinking, the creative newer spaces and ideas.
Yes, sir.
And you are in NIRJULI, and I am not new to NIRJULI, though I am from Kerala basically, and now talking to you from Hyderabad. Probably 2013 to 16 is the time when I visited Itanagar, and that's where I met your colleague DrTPS Sarkar, who is a student of mechanical engineering BTech, who happens to have same interest what my PhD subject is. My subject is fluid mechanics, and I found that his interest is in fluid dynamics and diffusion problems, in which that's where my heat transfer was my PhD, with a lot of differential equations, and I love them all. I remember last trip to NIRJULI in 2016 November, and had a good interaction with the Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalaya College of Teacher Education. I had a lot of public who was also present there to discuss what is happening in Kerala as residential programs which I conduct for the youth, and some of the people wanted to come and attend also. But then last few years, because of heavy rain, flood in Kerala, and then the epidemic, activities in Kerala is not happening. Today is a good day because I am here on online discussions on different topics to public. Maybe today is the 400th day. Last March 24th onwards, almost every day I speak average 1 hour. So I covered more than 4,000 hours of maybe lectures which are continuously being participated physically for last 10 years by more than 4 million and public, and maybe more than 10 million students. What is divergent thinking is one probably the most attracted subject of my talks in most of my discussions, because when you are divergent thinking, you are looking around 360 degree, and you always love to create your space. The space is 360 degree. I happen to be a space scientist, and in Sanskrit, space means come, or come is what means space in English. That is why when we suffix su, it becomes sukham, and once you suffix do, it becomes dukkam. Sukham and dukkam are part of your manas, the way you think. So the space around you is the way you think you want that to be. Therefore, that's the reason I gave the title of the talk as Creativity 360 degree is a life activity. Srishti is creativity, and that's a topic of your activity which is happening now. I'm so happy to see a lot of students are actively making it happen. For last few months you are active in this with the different activities, and all that includes creativity, and that creativity which you do with full enjoyment. LIFE, life. Most of my books are based on life. Live in full enjoyment, that is LIFE, or learn in full enjoyment, that is life. When you write learn, 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 remove L, it becomes earning. So learning, when completes, you can start earning. So you can go for a profession which is of your passion, provided you have full competence and confidence in what you do. Creativity comes only when you have confidence and you have full competence in what you do. Yesterday I was talking about artificial intelligence to some of the students who are interacting with me, and that artificial intelligence is what probably the 3 to 1. I keep talking, this is not the 21st century. This is third decade of 21st century. Because previously centuries were good enough to specify the time period. But today days and times move very fast. Therefore you cannot talk about century. You must talk about decades. So it is a 3 to 1 time. In this 3 to 1 time, what is essential for all of us? What are we looking for? If somebody asks you what is that you want, I'm 100% sure we will ask for, we want to learn, we want to earn, and we want to become famous. These are the 3 things. It is not of today. It is the time immemorial. As human being, what they want, that is what is explained in Vishnu Sahasranama. Vedandago Brahmanaha Kshatriyo Vijayi Bhavet Vaishyo Dhana Samurdaha Shudra Sukham Apniyat. Sukham, kham is what is required with happiness. But what is required for somebody else? Vedandago Brahmanaha. People want knowledge. Kshatriyo Vijayi Bhavet. All the people who want power and position. People want money. How do you get this? What do you do when you want knowledge? Why do you want knowledge? The knowledge is what make you to be more and more creative. When you want to do something, you will ask how to do it, where to do it, when to do it, and that will be answered only when you have the knowledge how to do it. That's a knowledge. Therefore, knowledge is not the certificate. Knowledge is not the degree what you get. Knowledge is the proper understanding. Assume you have the understanding of what you want to do and how do you want to do that. I'm sure the creativity will play a role. That is why we have the God of creativity as Brahma and God of knowledge, understanding, Savidya, Avidya, practical knowledge, Viveka, Vivechana, Buddhi. That is what is given to Saraswati. So when you have the combination of knowledge and creativity, how to do it, when to do it, why to do it, and I'm sure you have the vision to look around 360 degree in the space. That matters. And you need a lot of motivation. You need people with similar harmony, similar frequency, an environment. Otherwise you will not become active continuously. Unless you have some audience, I'm sure you will have a pain for talking. Talking to a camera is not what somebody likes to do it. I'm sure when you have audience in front of you, you will be able to talk nicely because you have a motivation behind what you are doing. When you create something, your passion adds with somebody's need, that coherence is what makes people to talk. That's why my student Sarkar from Northeast talked to me probably after how many years? 7 years. I must have met him in 2013 or 15 during that period. So maybe after 6 years or 7 years, a student comes back to me where he was a matriculation student. When he is doing a graduation, he comes back to me with the requirement of talking to his colleagues in his institution. That's a great recognition, and that motivation is essential. So how do you become creative? How do you become active in your life? Only when there is a need. Your passion should match with the need of somebody else. Otherwise, you are searching in darkness or pouring water in a burthen which is leaking, which will not hold any water. So the essence and the purpose is lost. So who is beside you? For whom you are doing? Where are you placed? With whom you are associated? All that matters for you to become active and creative. I remember when I went to one of the medical colleges, the owner of the medical college, the CEO of the medical college asked me a question. Why our students are not completing their MBBS, which is a 5 years course? Not in 5 years, they take 8 years, 9 years, sometimes they don't pass also. I looked around and told, look at your buildings around. Most of the buildings of your campus are unfinished. So every day they are seeing unfinished buildings, unclean veranda. None of them are not complete. So how do the students get a motivation to complete their project, complete their studies? Because what they see around is incomplete things, right? So I'm 100% sure your surroundings are the greatest motivation for you. We have a great thinker from the northeast of India, Swami Vivekananda, who contributed great. He says, what I think is what I am going to be tomorrow. So your thought process need to be furnished, made beautiful, make a place and plot and space for an intelligence to concentrate, put them into nice coordinates of frames, shape yourself and shape the people around you. Then I am 100% sure you will become what you want to be. Live and walk like a gentleman. I am sure you will become a gentleman all on a sudden. So you want a good environment, you need an attitude, you need skill. I keep saying this is DrTPS formula. I keep myself telling that this is the formula which I tell most of my students, management students and then professionals. Performance depends on skill, attitude and opportunity. You need a good creativity seat. Then you can become creative. You need a good thought, a good public space. You can see when you go to gardens and then when you go to some nice squares in the junctions of great cities, you will see good statues. Public figures are put in there, the leaders' pictures and statues are kept. That is to create, looking at them, you get motivation. And you need a space to sit around. You need a place to think from the macro you or the micro you to the macro person who is in front of you, to create yourself into the macro level. So all of us have to grow ourselves in our thought process, and that thought process is what is creativity, and that needs to be expanded to 360 degrees so that you feel comfortable in your zone, you feel comfortable in your place around you without obstacles. And it is okay not to be creative, but if you are a person who doesn't want the roadblocks in your life, who want to make a mark, a brand, a stamp, a footprint, and you are interested in infinite fulfillment with originality, making unique contributions and connections with the world around you, it's very, very important to fill your life with a lot of everyday activity that makes you very, very active. So it is not a professional creativity. It is not every day. If you are professionally creative, 100% you are creative in your way of thinking. Therefore, what you cook at home is also creative. It is every item what you do in your life. The simplest and the most very simple thing, day-to-day activity which you think, which you are doing, also will become creative. The journey becomes creative. The driving becomes creative. The way you fold your dress and keep it. The books which you print and then design your cover becomes creative. I am 100% sure you become a writer, a philosopher, if you are a person who is growing yourself with the vibrant life, with a lot of growth inside you. And inside you, when you grow, I am 100% sure you will see around you all that what gives you sparks for creativity. Purne manasi sampurnam jagat sarvam sudhadravaihi upana gudapadasya nanu charmas trutaiva buvuhu. What you see outside your world is what you think you wanted it to be. There is a great saying, wherever I want a leather carpet. Is it possible to get a leather carpet wherever I walk on the world? This is one question which Sri Rama asked. And this is one question where he got his answer when Sri Rama was sent to Vasishtha, the great psychologist, the psychotherapist, Dr. Vasishtha. The book is Yoga Vasishtha, in which he says, Purne manasi sampurnam. It's all in the manas. If you want a leather carpet wherever you walk, 100% it is possible if you wear a leather footwear. When you walk, you get a leather carpet wherever you walk if you have a leather footwear. So it's all in the way you carry yourself. So it's all in you. If you want to be essentially a creative person, you look at the world like a creative person with the infancy of thoughts in you. Look like a baby who is looking at the world with all the wonders around. I am 100% sure you will love it. An innovative way, not with any negotiation. Don't bargain. Make it spend as much as you can with the dreams. Don't become confused in dreaming. The surrounding is so beautiful, so exotic, so accelerated with a lot of energy. I am 100% sure you don't have to decelerate in your life. Don't reduce the speed. As you go, you must increase your speed. You must look at the texture, color, what the world is given to you. I am 100% sure these days, because of COVID, we have got a lot of problems for oxygen that's filling the news. Every day when you open anywhere, you will see the news that oxygen is costly, it is not available, and you have to spend a lot of money for that. Assume a person who is paying for 1 day hospitalization, lakhs of rupees because he need oxygen support and he is in a ventilator. Think about the last so many years we are gifted with sufficient oxygen for our life. How much we have to pay to the God who has given this splendid, excellent environment for us to breathe and live. We don't value most of the things what we have around. We only look around to see problems. Why can't we look around to see what is that gives us, or what is that is given to us with a lot of supplement, which probably we are not using as a total. Our sensor, all the senses which have got immense ability. Why do you want to control it? Why do you want to curtail it? Why do you want to filter it? Open it up to the world. You want yourself to brand. The only method is you enjoy everything what you do. When you do that enjoyment, look at the flower, how beautifully it is created by God. Think what I can do. Don't keep ifs and buts. If you have the ability of a child to look at things around and wonder the world is so great, I am 100% sure you will also think, why not I contribute a little? And that is what is required. That probably you are not able to create, but you can design it. You can write it down. So always keep a pen and paper with you. Record what you think is correct. That's how I become. When I get a one line, I write it down. Probably that one line is a small seed which is inside me, which becomes a poetry by a day. So you need to look at that, write it down, record it, and then keep it so that you will make it a poetry tomorrow. That creativity is a muscle which you have to go on exercise. When you exercise over that, ponder over that, think over that, repeat yourself internally and chew multiple times, I'm 100% sure effortlessly the poetry comes to you. And that is the ability of a poet. That is the ability of a writer. That is the ability of a speaker. And that you need to cultivate yourself. You need to have that patience. You will fail again and again. And don't worry about what happens if that doesn't work. You should have the patience. With one hit, no stone will break. Probably you need to look at it very carefully where to hit for breaking. That is how the creativity, all the creativity activity which you do, all the production what you do doesn't become a discovery. That doesn't become a innovation. Maybe small improvisation you can make it. That improvisation, if you enjoy, I'm sure it will become much better and better. Don't add your age to creativity. Creativity can sprout inside you at any point of time. You should have that spirit. But 100%, the 50% of the creativity or ability, the way of communication, the way of behavior, the character, what you have comes biologically probably from your parents. But 40% comes with the environment, the people with whom you are mixing, the way you mingle with others. So 90% is over. But that 10% what you can do yourself determines the 40% of the satsang, good company which you can have. It is nice to listen to lectures, but why do people create such lectures in academic institutions? People think that talking is communication skill. The ability to talk, ability to listen is not the communication skill. How many people you connect to? Do you have the network of people around you when you can talk to them? I'm sure Sarkar met me 7 years back. He still have that contact. He still have the name with him. That is why he connected me to talk to all of you today. So that communication, that connectivity, that network, that ability is there for the human being because we are human. We are social. If somebody asks me what is the wealth of every human being, I will say that is connection. The contact with the people whom you want to connect. Whatever I am today, whatever I am speaking today, the ability which I have got is only through the good contacts with the people. I became a meditation master because I got into contact with the Himalayan meditation master. I learned little bit of Shastras in the Bharatiya Shastra because I had a good guru with whom I had a contact. How do you get contact into? You branch upon him, you go to him, talk to him, understand him, learn him, invest your time. So that exercise is essential. So communication is not language skill. Communication is the ability of creativity, of contacts, visual communication, your hearing, visual, smell, all that indriya need to work. But where to invest that has to be directed by the good groups with whom you are associated. So set your own circle around you, the 360 degree. Look at around where you want to get connected to make your passion very closely associated with the good frequency where you can match. Identify those activities which you want to do. Don't create deadlines, but create short-term goals. And that short-term goals need to be continued. And that is what is essential. Being active is meditation. Many people think that meditation is closing your eyes and then going into dilution into yourself. No. Meditation in action. Get moving with your routine activity fully in enjoyment. Don't say that no, I'm regularly doing the same thing, it's mechanical, it's not at all interesting. No, it's the way you look at it. Every day is a new day. Every day is entirely different because you are growing, your thoughts are growing, your connections are growing, you are traveling in a great journey. Life is not a travel, it's a great journey, and you have different colors to enjoy. Stay creative, then you will see the colors of life. Practice, practice, practice. Exercise your creativity and strategize what I wanted to do it in my life. Have a long term plan, short term goals. Push your limits to the highest. I'm sure don't get obsessed with your day to day activity and say that life is not boring. Life is not interested. That's all what you don't have to decide. It's all the people who look at you will decide whether you are a boring person or an interested person. Embrace your nature around you. Skip those small things which are not essential for you. Brush it away. But brush those things which you can make it beautiful by your beautiful colors which you add to your life. I'm sure that is what you can do when you are a creative person. And that is the real job which you have to do. It is not the profession, it is not what you study, it is not the family which you create makes your life beautiful. It is the way you think yourself internally makes your life the most beautiful. I remember it is easy for one day to be creative, one day to be effective, one day to be active, but the next day again you think, yeah, it's not going very good. I remember most of my best paid talks used to be for Life Insurance Corporation of India. Just because I caught the slogan from Life Insurance Corporation, which says, Yoga Kshemam Mahamyaham. What is great in this world? Add whatever you want to yourself and never lose it. If you lose it, then you become so sad. You should not lose. The energy which you have in your childhood has to grow age by age, day by day. The knowledge what you gained from your education and academics must grow every day. Don't forget. If you think that, yeah, I forgot whatever I learned during my 10th class, then you feel sad today. After BTech, when you get a job, you forgot all what I learned in BTech, finished. You will feel sad. Should not happen. Yoga Kshemam. Yoga means adding, Kshemam means keep it safe. Is it possible for all of us to keep it safe? Bhagavan Krishna in Bhagavad Gita in 9th chapter, the center of Bhagavad Gita. 18 chapters, 9th chapter is the center. And there are 54 slokas in which the center is approximately 22 to few slokas there. And the 22nd sloka, Bhagavan gives a beautiful quote. And the quote says, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogatshemam vahamyaham. Yogatshemam, adding to yourself and keeping it safe, I will guarantee you. And that is what Life Insurance Corporation of India has taken and put as a slogan under the emblem. I will guarantee you that whatever you do it, whatever investment you do will be safe and it will help you for tomorrow. When it will be possible, Ananyas Chintayantoma, without any other failure thoughts. Don't worry about failures. Don't worry about anything else. Ananyas Chintayantoma, with the concentrated devotional thoughts, be focused. Ananyas Chintayantoma, ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogatshemam vahamyaham. To such people, Bhagavan is guaranteed. Bhagavan doesn't guarantee you a happy sukham, a happy, creative, professional, active, very enjoyable life. Only when you are fully concentrated and active in your day-to-day affair, he will guarantee you what you want. This is a beautiful session which I enjoyed. I'm 100% sure most of you enjoyed. I decided I will talk only for half an hour, though the time given is 1 hour, because I love to have a lot of questions from people, and I'm sure the Northeast Regional Institute for Science and Technology students are so active, and the people who are listening to me are very active, and I'm sure they will have a lot of questions. So is it good enough from me for you to decide what you want to ask me, and then I will open this for questions from you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, sir. It was a very insightful session, and hope that all the audience, they have loved it. So